Before we begin, please note that the information provided in this video is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional engineering, legal, or financial advice. You should always consult with licensed and qualified professionals to address your specific project needs and circumstances. Let me tell you a quick story about a developer we'll call Frank. Frank was sharp. He was building a beautiful 3-story mixed-use commercial space. Prime location. High-end tenants lined up. He was managing the budget like a hawk. When the bids came in for the HVAC system, specifically the ductwork installation, 4 of them were in a similar ballpark. But the fifth one was a full 20% lower. Frank felt like he'd hit the jackpot. He did his basic due diligence. They were licensed, they were insured, they had a decent-looking website. He signed the contract and celebrated the thousands of dollars he just saved. That celebration was short-lived. The project, which had been running smoothly, started hitting snags. The ductwork installers were constantly running into conflicts with the plumbers and the electricians. Finger-pointing started. Change orders started piling up, eating away at those initial savings. The project finished 6 weeks late. But the real nightmare began after the tenants moved in. The calls started flooding his property manager. The accounting firm on the 3rd floor was freezing, while the dental office below it was an oven. One of the retail spaces on the ground floor had such poor airflow that a weird smell started to linger. And the building's energy bills, they were astronomical, 30% higher than the engineer's projections. Within a year, Frank had spent over $100,000 on consultants, air balancers, and remediation crews trying to fix the disaster hidden above the ceiling tiles. He was facing a potential lawsuit from his largest tenant, and the reputation of his brand new building was in the gutter. The culprit? A systematically, catastrophically botched ductwork installation. The bargain installer had used improper sealing, shoddy connections, and undersized ducts that they'd squeezed and contorted in the field to make them fit, crushing the system's efficiency. Frank didn't save 20%. He ended up paying 150% and bought himself a multi-year migraine. Frank's story is not an exception. It is frighteningly common. We see it every single day. The commercial HVAC ductwork in your building is the single most important system that nobody ever sees. It is the respiratory system of your investment. It delivers the conditioned air that keeps your tenants comfortable, healthy, and productive. When it's done right, it's silent, efficient, and invisible. But when it's done wrong, it becomes a silent killer of your profitability, a destroyer of your timeline, and a constant source of tenant complaints. The problem is, most developers, general contractors, and business owners don't know how to tell the difference between a truly professional installer and a lowballing corner cutter until it's far too late. They ask the basic questions. Are you licensed? Are you insured? What's your price? And every installer, good and bad, will have a great answer for those. Those questions don't protect you. That is why we made this video. We are going to give you the 5 critical questions that go beyond the surface. These are the questions that the average installer will stumble over, but the true professional will be excited to answer. These questions will instantly reveal their process, their sophistication, and their commitment to quality. Asking these 5 questions will save you from becoming the next Frank. It will protect your investment, your timeline, and your reputation. So let's get into the very first, and arguably the most important question you need to ask any potential commercial ductwork installer. The first question you must ask is this: can you walk me through your prefabrication design, coordination, and clash detection process in detail? Now, pay close attention to their reaction when you ask this. If their eyes glaze over, if they give you a vague, hand-waving answer, that is a monumental red flag. But if they lean forward, if their eyes light up, and they start talking about their technology and their process, you're on the right track. This single question cuts right to the heart of modern professional construction. It separates the craftsman from the cowboys. Let's break down why this is so critical. In the old days, and frankly how most low-bid contractors still operate, the process was simple. They'd get a set of 2D blueprints from the engineer, their foreman would look at them, and their guys in the field would just figure it out. They'd show up with truckloads of raw sheet metal and start cutting, bending, and hanging ductwork on the fly. What happens when they get to a spot where a giant plumbing pipe is exactly where their duct is supposed to go? They improvise. They jog the duct around it. They squeeze it down. They make it fit. Every single one of these field modifications is a compromise. It introduces turbulence, creates leaks, and strangles the airflow, permanently damaging the efficiency of the system you paid for. It's like buying a Ferrari and then pinching the fuel line. This old-school method is the primary source of budget overruns, schedule delays, and inter-trade conflict on a job site. It's a reactive, chaotic, and incredibly expensive way to build. A professional top-tier installer does the exact opposite. They don't solve problems in the field. They solve them on a computer screen months before a single worker steps on site. This is what we mean by design, coordination, and clash detection. When you ask them this question, here are the keywords and phrases you want to listen for. These are the ultimate green flags. The first is BIM. That stands for Building Information Modeling. This is non-negotiable in modern commercial construction. BIM is not just a 3D blueprint. It's a data-rich, intelligent digital model of your entire building. A professional installer won't just look at 2D plans. They will build their entire ductwork system inside this shared 3D model. This allows them to see exactly how their system interacts with everything else: the steel structure, the plumbing, the electrical conduit, the fire suppression systems, everything. The next term you want to hear is clash detection. This is the magic. Using software like Navisworks, they take the 3D models from all the major trades: mechanical, electrical, plumbing, structural, and they merge them into one master model. The software then runs a report, identifying every single location where two objects are trying to occupy the same space. A pipe running through a duct hitting a steel beam, a light fixture in the way of a diffuser. These are called clashes. A great contractor will identify hundreds, sometimes thousands, of these clashes in the digital model. And here's the key: they resolve them in virtual coordination meetings with the other trades before anyone orders a foot of pipe or a pound of sheet metal. They digitally move a duct up 6 inches, reroute a plumbing line, or shift a light fixture, ensuring a perfect, conflict-free installation. This process alone saves an unbelievable amount of time, money, and headaches on the actual job site. So, a great answer to your question sounds something like this. Absolutely. Our process starts the moment we're awarded the contract. Our in-house VDC, that's Virtual Design and Construction team, takes the engineer's designs and builds a fully detailed, data-rich 3D model of our entire HVAC system in Revit. We then participate in weekly BIM coordination meetings with the general contractor and the other major trades. We use Navisworks to run clash detection reports, and we work collaboratively to resolve every single clash in the model. Once we have a fully coordinated, clash-free model, we produce detailed shop drawings and spool drawings directly from that model. These drawings are then sent to our fabrication shop, where we manufacture the ductwork in a controlled environment to precise specifications. This means that when the sections arrive on site, they fit perfectly the first time, every time. It dramatically accelerates our installation schedule and eliminates costly field modifications and change orders. You see the difference? That's not a contractor. That's a manufacturing and logistics partner. They have a process. It's predictable, it's tech-driven, and it's designed to de-risk your project. Now, here are the red flag answers. If you ask about their process and they say, "Our field guys are the best, they have 30 years of experience, they can make anything work," run. Experience is valuable, but it's not a substitute for a modern, proactive process. That answer is a guarantee that you will be paying for their experience through a flood of expensive change orders. Another red flag: "Oh, that BIM stuff is really only for huge $100 million hospital jobs." This is completely false. The technology is accessible and scalable, and the benefits of coordination apply to a 50,000 square foot office building just as much as they do to a massive stadium. Any contractor who dismisses this technology is either behind the times, or they don't want to invest in the process because their business model relies on profiting from those chaotic, high-margin change orders. By asking this one simple question, you force them to reveal whether they are living in the past or building for the future. You find out if they are a true partner who will prevent problems, or just another subcontractor who will show up and react to them. A commitment to a robust, technology-driven pre-construction process is the single best indicator of a professional, high-quality commercial HVAC ductwork installer. It's the foundation upon which a successful project is built. Choosing an installer who nails this part of the process means you're already avoiding Frank's nightmare. So, you've found an installer who gives a brilliant answer on design and load calculation. They're not winging it. They're engineers. That's a massive first step. But a perfect blueprint is worthless if it's built with shoddy materials. A brilliant plan executed with junk is still a junk system. This is where the physical reality of your project takes shape, and it's where a lot of corners get cut to save a buck that will cost you thousands down the road. This brings us to the second critical question you must ask. Where and how is your ductwork fabricated? And what specific materials do you plan to use for my project? Now listen carefully to the answer. A vague, hand-wavy response is a blaring red flag. If they say something like, "Oh, we use standard stuff," or "We get our ducts from a supplier," you need to press them. Who is the supplier? What are their quality standards? The lack of a specific, confident answer tells you they don't control a critical part of the process. They're just middlemen for the most important component of your system. They're assemblers, not craftsmen. They're buying off-the-shelf parts that might be close enough for your custom needs. And close enough in the world of commercial HVAC is a recipe for inefficiency and failure. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah was opening her dream restaurant, a high-end steakhouse. She knew the kitchen was the heart of her operation, and the ventilation system was its lungs. A greasy, smoky dining room would kill her business before the first steak was even served. She interviewed 3 installers. The first 2 gave her that same vague answer about suppliers. They were confident, but it was hollow. The third installer, however, lit up when she asked the question. He said, "Let me tell you about our fab shop." He didn't just tell her, he showed her pictures. He explained that they fabricate almost everything in-house. This right here is the answer you're listening for. An in-house fabrication shop is a game changer. It means they have total control over the quality, the timeline, and the customization of your ductwork. They aren't waiting on a third-party supplier who might be backordered for weeks. They aren't forced to make a standard-sized piece fit into your unique space. They can build the exact perfect piece required right then and there. This control is everything. It means if a measurement is off by a fraction of an inch during install, which happens, they don't have to send an order out and wait 2 weeks for a replacement. They can have a technician fabricate a new piece and have it on site the next morning. That's the difference between staying on schedule and a month-long delay that costs you tens of thousands in lost revenue. But it's not just about the where, it's about the what. The materials. Ductwork isn't just ductwork. The type and quality of the metal is paramount. The installer should be able to walk you through the options and justify their choice for your specific application. For most commercial jobs, the workhorse is galvanized steel. It's strong, durable, and cost-effective. But here's where the detail matters. Ask them what gauge steel they use. In the world of sheet metal, the lower the gauge number, the thicker and stronger the metal. A contractor using 26 gauge steel is giving you a flimsier, more easily damaged product than one using 22 or 24 gauge for the same application. Think of it like paper. 26 gauge is like flimsy printer paper. 22 gauge is like sturdy cardstock. Which one do you want carrying the conditioned air for your entire building for the next 30 years? A quality installer will use the appropriate gauge based on the size and pressure of the duct, following established SMACNA standards. That's the Sheet Metal and Air Conditioning Contractors National Association. If they mention SMACNA without you prompting them, you're likely talking to a pro. But what if you don't just need the standard? What if you have a unique environment? For Sarah's Steakhouse, the installer recommended 2 different materials. For the main dining area, properly gauged galvanized steel was perfect. But for the kitchen exhaust, especially over the grills and fryers, he insisted on 18-gauge stainless steel. Why? Because a standard galvanized duct would corrode and break down under the constant assault of grease-laden vapor. Stainless steel is more expensive, yes, but it's also virtually indestructible in that environment. It meets fire codes, it's easier to clean, and it will last indefinitely. The cheap-out artist would have put galvanized steel in the kitchen to lower the bid, which would pass the initial inspection, but within 5 years, Sarah would be facing a catastrophic failure and a full replacement. Maybe your facility is a natatorium and indoor pool. The chlorinated, high-humidity air would eat galvanized steel for lunch. A top-tier installer would immediately recommend aluminum or a specialized coated steel ductwork because it resists corrosion. Or perhaps you have a clean room or a high-tech manufacturing facility. They'd again point to stainless steel or even specialized polymer ductwork to prevent particle shedding. The point is, a true expert doesn't have a one-size-fits-all answer. They have a customized solution, and they can explain exactly why it's the right solution for you. And let's not forget about the other guys. Fiberglass duct board and flexible duct, or flex duct. A good contractor knows where these have a place. A small, short, straight run? Maybe. But they should also explain the immense downsides. Fiberglass board is fragile. It can absorb moisture, creating a breeding ground for mold. Flex duct, when not installed perfectly straight and taut, creates massive airflow restrictions, strangling your system and driving up your energy bills. A lazy installer loves Flex Duct because it's fast and cheap. A great installer uses it sparingly, if at all, in commercial settings, preferring the guaranteed performance and longevity of rigid metal. So Sarah went with the third installer, the one with the in-house fab shop, the one who geeked out about the difference between 304 stainless steel and galvanized G90 coating. The result? Her ductwork was a work of art. The custom-welded stainless steel hood and exhaust system in her kitchen is still the envy of other restaurateurs. Her dining room is quiet and comfortable, with no hot or cold spots. Her energy bills are 15% lower than projected because the ducts are perfectly sealed, fabricated with precision in a controlled environment, not hastily slapped together on a job site. She never has to think about her HVAC. Just works. That's the peace of mind you're paying for. You're not just buying ducts, you're buying expertise. You're buying quality control. You're buying a system that's built to last, not built to be the cheapest bid. Asking about fabrication and materials separates the professionals from the pretenders. It exposes who truly controls the quality of your project and who is just outsourcing it to the lowest bidder. A great plan, like we talked about in the first question, is critical. But that plan is only as strong as the materials it's built with and the quality of its construction. Now you have the perfect plan and you've specified the perfect, high-quality, custom-fabricated materials. You're set, right? Not even close. You can have a Formula One car designed by the best engineers, built from the most advanced materials, but if you put a terrible driver behind the wheel, you're going to end up in a wall. The same is true for your HVAC system. The most brilliant ductwork in the world is just a pile of expensive metal if the team in your building, the ones on the ladders turning wrenches and sealing seams, isn't up to the task. The quality of the installation team itself is the final and most crucial piece of the puzzle. And figuring out the quality of that team that requires asking the third, and perhaps most revealing question of them all. And the answer you're looking for isn't just a simple yes, our guys are great. You need to push past the sales pitch. You need to get specific. The question you must ask is this: can you walk me through the background, training and certifications of the specific project foreman, and the lead installers who will be assigned to my job? This question is a pattern interrupt. It shifts the conversation from the company's glossy brochure to the actual human beings who will be cutting, bending, and sealing the metal that will become the lungs of your building. A great company with a B team on your site is no longer a great company for you. Their A team might be tied up on a massive hospital project, while your job gets the new guys, or worse, a crew of subcontractors they barely know. This single question separates the professionals from the pretenders. Let me tell you about two business owners. We'll call them Mark and Sarah. Both were building out new commercial spaces. Mark was opening his dream restaurant, a high-end steakhouse. Sarah was building a state-of-the-art dental clinic. Both needed complex HVAC systems. Mark went with a company we'll call Quick Mechanical. Their bid was impressively low. Their salesman was slick, confident, and promised the world. He talked about their company's decades of experience and their portfolio of successful projects. Mark was sold. He signed the contract, excited to have saved $10,000. He never asked about the specific crew. A few weeks later, the installation team showed up. The foreman looked like he was barely out of his 20s. The crew seemed disorganized, their trucks were a mess, and their communication was poor. But Mark figured, they're the experts, I'll let them do their job. That was his first mistake. The problem started small. Ductwork was hung slightly crooked, an aesthetic issue but also a sign of carelessness. Then the general contractor called Mark furious. The HVAC crew had run a massive trunk line directly through the space designated for the fire suppression system's main pipes. It was a rookie mistake, a complete failure to coordinate with other trades. The entire section had to be torn out, redesigned and reinstalled, causing a 2-week delay. Then came the bigger issues. The crew used the wrong gauge of sheet metal for a high-pressure section of the system, causing it to vibrate and create an audible hum throughout the dining room. They sealed connections with tape that wasn't rated for the plenum, a major code violation and fire hazard. The inspector took one look, slapped a red tag on the entire installation, and shut the job down. Mark's $10,000 savings vanished. It was eaten up by delays, rework, and the cost of hiring another engineer to redesign the flawed sections. The finger-pointing began. Quick Mechanical blamed the general contractor. The GC blamed them. And Mark, the business owner, was stuck in the middle. His grand opening pushed back by months, burning through cash on rent and loans for a restaurant that couldn't open. The salesman who had promised him the world? He stopped returning Mark's calls. Mark didn't hire a company. He hired a salesman. The actual work was done by an unsupervised, undertrained crew that turned his dream project into a financial nightmare. Now let's look at Sarah. She was just as budget conscious, but she was meticulous. She got 3 bids for her dental clinic. One was from a company just like Mark's, a low price and big promises. But Sarah asked our question, "Can you tell me about the foreman who will be running my project?" The salesman from the low-bid company fumbled. "Oh, we have a pool of great guys. We'll assign one when the project starts. They're all excellent." That was a red flag for Sarah. It was a non-answer. Then she spoke with the second company, Precision Airflow. Their bid was higher, but when she asked the question, their entire demeanor changed. The owner, not a salesman, sat down with her. He said, "Absolutely. For a medical facility like this, with specific needs for air filtration and zone temperature control, we would assign our senior foreman, a guy named Dave." He didn't stop there. He pulled out a file. "Dave has been with us for 18 years. He's got his master mechanical license, he's OSHA 30 certified, and he has completed advanced training specifically on variable refrigerant flow systems, which is what we've proposed for your clinic. He has personally overseen the installation on a dozen similar medical facilities. His lead installers, Mike and James, have both completed a 5-year apprenticeship program right here in our shop and have their SMACNA certifications in ductwork fabrication and installation. We don't use subcontractors for our core installation work. The guys who build your ductwork in our shop are the same guys who will install it on your site." He then offered to arrange a call with Dave, the foreman, before she even signed the contract, so he could answer any technical questions she had. Sarah hired Precision Airflow. The extra cost was an investment in certainty, and it paid off. Dave, the foreman, was a true professional. He was on site every day. He coordinated a weekly meeting with the plumber, the electrician, and the general contractor to anticipate and solve problems before they happened. His crew was clean, efficient, and professional. They laid down protective coverings on the floors. They sealed every joint with mastic, applied by hand, ensuring a virtually leak-proof system. They pressure tested their work at every stage. The city inspector came, walked the site with Dave for an hour, and at the end he shook his hand and said, "I wish every job was this clean." The system was commissioned and it was perfect. Airflow was balanced to the exact cubic feet per minute required for each treatment room. It was whisper quiet. Sarah's dental clinic opened on time and on budget. Her staff is comfortable, her patients are comfortable, and her energy bills are 20% lower than projected because the system is so tight and efficient. She didn't just hire a company. She hired a specific, proven team led by an expert. So when you ask this question, what are you listening for? You're listening for specifics. You're listening for names. You're listening for a clear chain of command. Ask about the foreman's experience. How many years has he been in the field? How many projects like yours has he personally managed? This person is the quarterback of the installation. Their experience is paramount. Ask about the installer's training. Did they go through a formal union or non-union apprenticeship? This is a multi-year program that teaches not just the how, but the why behind the codes and standards. It's the difference between a laborer and a craftsman. Look for certifications from organizations like SMACNA, the gold standard for sheet metal work. And critically, you must ask if they will be using their own employees or subcontractors. A company that uses its own W-2 employees has direct control over their training, their quality, and their safety standards. A company that relies heavily on a rotating cast of 1099 subcontractors introduces a massive variable. You don't know who those subs are, what their training is, or if they're even properly insured. It was the subcontractor lottery that cost Mark his restaurant's opening. A vague, dismissive answer to this question is one of the biggest red flags you will ever see. "Don't worry, we'll take care of it," is not an answer. "We'll assign a team closer to the start date," is not an answer. You are not just buying a product. You are buying the skill and craftsmanship of a specific group of people. You have every right to know exactly who those people are, because once the contract is signed, they are the ones who hold the success of your project in their hands. The quality of their work, deep inside your walls and ceilings, will affect the value and comfort of your building for decades to come. So how do you actually vet these people? How do you look past the polished sales pitch and the glossy brochure to see the real team you'll be trusting with the literal lungs of your building? Starts by asking the right questions. Not just the obvious ones about price and timeline, but the deeper, more insightful questions that separate the true professionals from the pretenders. And the very first question, the one that lays the foundation for everything else, is this. Can you detail your experience with projects of this specific size, type, and complexity? Now that might sound like standard due diligence, but the magic is in the details, specifically the words specific, type, and complexity. Almost any installer can say, "Oh yeah, we do commercial work all the time." That answer is useless. It's a smokescreen. It's like asking a surgeon if they have experience in medicine. The real question is, have they performed this exact surgery before multiple times with a high rate of success? You wouldn't hire a world-class heart surgeon to operate on your brain. And you shouldn't hire a company that specializes in simple retail fit-outs to install the complex ductwork for a hospital or a data center. This is what I call the curse of the competent generalist. A company might be fantastic at installing ductwork in 5,000 square foot office spaces. They're fast, efficient, and profitable doing that one thing. But then your project comes along, a 20,000 square foot restaurant with multiple commercial kitchen hoods, intricate makeup air systems, and dedicated zones for the dining room, bar, and private event space. They see the dollar signs, they look at the square footage, and they think, it's just 4 times bigger. We can handle that. They can't. And their failure will become your nightmare. Let me paint you a picture. A friend of mine, a restaurateur, hired a highly rated commercial HVAC company for his new upscale steakhouse. The company's portfolio was full of beautiful office buildings and retail stores. They talked a great game. The price was competitive. He signed the contract. Fast forward to opening night. The dining room is packed. The kitchen is in high gear. And suddenly, the whole place starts to fill with a light haze of smoke. The front door becomes strangely difficult to open, as if a vacuum is holding it shut. Diners near the kitchen are complaining it's drafty and cold, while guests by the windows are sweating. What happened? The installer, a specialist in office buildings, had fundamentally misunderstood the physics of a restaurant. They treated the massive kitchen exhaust hoods like a simple bathroom fan. They failed to design a makeup air system that could replace the colossal amount of air being vented out, creating a powerful negative pressure inside the building. That's why the door was hard to open. That's why smoke was being pulled back into the dining room. That's why the building was desperately sucking in cold air from every crack and crevice, creating drafts and chaos for the main HVAC system. The building was literally suffocating. The fix required tearing out ceilings in a brand new restaurant, costing him hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost revenue and repairs. All because he hired a team that didn't have specific experience. So when you ask this question, you need to dissect their answer. Let's break down what specific experience really means. First, building type. Is your project a medical facility? The requirements are astronomical. You need installers who understand positive and negative air pressure to control infection in operating rooms and isolation wards. They need experience with HEPA filtration, stainless steel ductwork, and the incredibly strict SMACNA standards for healthcare facilities. A mistake here isn't just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. It can compromise patient safety and shut your facility down. Is it a manufacturing plant or a clean room for electronics? Now you're talking about controlling dust, particulates, and humidity to microscopic levels. The ductwork has to be sealed to a standard far beyond a normal office building. The installers need to be trained in clean room protocols, understanding how to work without contaminating the very environment they are trying to build. Is it a data center? Here the game is heat removal. A data center is essentially a giant toaster, and the HVAC system is the only thing preventing a multi-million-dollar meltdown. Installers need experience with massive air handlers, hot aisle/cold aisle containment strategies, and redundant systems. The ductwork is often enormous and has to be routed through incredibly dense racks of equipment. There is zero room for error. A single failed joint or a poorly designed duct run could lead to a hot spot that takes down an entire server rack, costing your company a fortune in downtime. Or is it like our restaurant example? Restaurants, labs, and anything with fume hoods require a deep understanding of exhaust and replacement air. It's a delicate balancing act. Too little makeup air and you starve the building. Too much and you waste a fortune on heating and cooling all that new air you're bringing in from outside. Only an installer who has wrestled with this specific challenge before will get it right. This is why your first follow-up question must be, can you provide me with the names and contact information for the last 3 projects you completed that are of a similar building type and scope to mine? Don't let them show you their greatest hits from 5 years ago. You want recent, relevant proof. And don't just ask for the building owner's contact info. Ask for the general contractor and the mechanical engineer on those jobs. They will give you the unvarnished truth about the installer's performance, their teamwork, and their problem-solving skills. Your next follow-up should be, what were the biggest, most unexpected challenges you faced on those projects, and how did your team specifically overcome them? This is a killer question. A bad contractor will either say, oh, everything went smoothly, which is almost never true on a complex job, or they'll start blaming the engineer, the architect, or the GC. A great contractor, a true partner, will be honest. They'll say something like, on the Mercy Hospital project, we discovered a major conflict between our main trunk line and a structural steel beam that wasn't on the original drawings. Our project manager, Sarah, immediately coordinated a meeting on site with the engineer and the steel fabricator. Our in-house fabrication shop was able to redesign and build a custom transition piece overnight, and we got it installed the next day. We only lost half a day on the schedule instead of a week. That's the answer you want to hear. It shows honesty, ownership, and a proactive, problem-solving mindset. And that brings up the final crucial part of this question, identifying the actual people. Ask them, who was the foreman or project manager on those successful jobs? And more importantly, will that same person be assigned to my project? A company is not a faceless entity. It's a collection of people. The success of their last project was due to the skill of a specific team. You need to ensure that you're getting their A team, not the B team or the C team they reserve for projects they deem less important. If they can't guarantee that the proven, experienced leaders who handled their showcase projects will also be handling yours, that's a major red flag. You're not just buying ductwork. You're buying the expertise, the experience, and the problem-solving ability of the human beings who will be designing, fabricating, and installing it. Their past performance on projects just like yours is the single most reliable predictor of their future success on your project. Getting this right means your building will breathe correctly for the next 30 years. Getting it wrong means you're in for a long, expensive, and frustrating battle against the very systems that are supposed to be keeping your occupants safe and comfortable. Because the truth is, not all experience is created equal. And your job is to find the team whose experience was tailor-made for the challenge you're about to hand them. This is where the rubber meets the road. Because asking, have you done a project like this before? Is a start, but it's a kindergarten-level question. The real professional-level inquiry goes so much deeper. It's not about checking a box. It's about performing a surgical dissection of their past work to predict their future performance. Think of it like this: you need a heart transplant. 2 surgeons are available. One is a world-renowned orthopedic surgeon who has set thousands of broken bones with flawless precision. The other is a cardiac surgeon who has successfully performed your exact procedure hundreds of times. Who do you choose? It's not a trick question. The orthopedic surgeon is brilliant, experienced, and highly skilled, but in the wrong discipline. Their experience, while impressive, is irrelevant to your specific life or death need. Commercial HVAC is no different. The contractor who has installed hundreds of simple rooftop units for strip malls is an expert in that domain. But that experience is dangerously irrelevant if your project is a 50,000 square foot biologics cleanroom, where a single stray particle can ruin a multi-million-dollar batch of product. The physics of moving air is the same, but the application, the stakes, and the required precision are on 2 different planets. So when you ask about experience, you need to filter it through 3 critical lenses: scale, industry, and material. First, let's talk about scale and complexity. There's a monumental difference between a 10-ton system for a local bank branch and a 2,000-ton central plant for a high-rise office tower. It's not just about bigger ducts and bigger fans. The complexity explodes exponentially. A large-scale project involves intricate phasing to keep parts of the building operational. It requires advanced coordination with structural engineers, fire protection specialists, and building automation teams. It demands sophisticated project management to handle logistics, crane lifts in a dense urban environment, and a crew of dozens, not just a couple of guys in a van. Ask them to describe the largest, most logistically complex project they've ever managed. Don't ask for the dollar value. That can be misleading. Ask for the tonnage, the square footage, the number of crew on site, and the duration. Ask them what their specific role was. Were they the prime contractor or a small subcontractor on that big job? You want the team that has navigated the labyrinth of a massive project and come out the other side successfully, not someone who just had a small piece of the puzzle. Second, and this is arguably the most important lens, is industry-specific experience. This is where you separate the generalists from the specialists. Let's get specific. If you're building or renovating a hospital, your number one concern is infection control. You need a contractor who lives and breathes ICRA, Infection Control Risk Assessment. They need to know how to build temporary hardwall barriers, use HEPA-filtered negative air machines, and work meticulously to prevent dust and contaminants from entering patient care areas. A single mistake can have catastrophic consequences. Ask them. Describe your standard procedure for setting up an ICRA Class 4 containment. If they can't answer that question instantly and in detail, they have no business setting foot in your healthcare facility. Their experience in office buildings is worthless here. What if it's a data center? The magic words are uptime and precision. The entire facility is designed to keep servers cool, period. A contractor needs to understand the intricacies of hot aisle/cold aisle containment, the critical importance of maintaining exact temperature and humidity set points, and the unforgiving nature of a zero downtime environment. Ask them. Walk me through a time you had to perform a major equipment cutover in a live data center. What was your method of procedure, or MOP? How did you ensure zero interruption to the critical load? A contractor who primarily works on schools or warehouses will not speak this language. They won't understand that an hour of downtime could cost your company millions of dollars. They see a cooling unit. You need someone who sees the financial heart of your entire operation. Or maybe it's a restaurant. This world is dominated by grease, heat, and fire code. The installation of a kitchen hood and the associated grease duct is one of the most specialized skills in the HVAC trade. The ductwork has to be liquid-tight, continuously welded, and routed according to incredibly strict fire safety regulations. The makeup air system has to be perfectly balanced with the exhaust, or you'll create a negative pressure nightmare that makes doors impossible to open and extinguishes pilot lights. Ask them. Tell me about the most challenging restaurant kitchen ventilation project you've completed. What specific challenges did you face with the fire marshal and the health inspector regarding the grease duct and makeup air? If their experience is limited to retail stores, they will be utterly lost in the code-intensive, high-stakes world of commercial kitchens. The third lens is materials and fabrication. Not all ductwork is the standard, rectangular galvanized steel you see everywhere. A project might specify spiral duct for architectural reasons, stainless steel for a corrosive environment like a chemical plant or a food processing facility, or even specialized coated ductwork for a laboratory's fume exhaust. Each of these materials requires different tools, different welding or sealing techniques, and a different level of craftsmanship. A team that's fantastic at assembling standard galvanized duct might be completely out of their depth when faced with a project requiring 10-gauge, fully welded stainless steel. Ask them to show you pictures of their fab shop. Ask them what specific welding certifications their fabricators hold. Ask if they have experience with the exact type and gauge of material your project requires. Their ability to fabricate quality ductwork in their own shop, rather than outsourcing it, gives them immense control over quality and schedule. It's a huge indicator of a serious professional operation. So you're not just asking, have you done this before? You're asking targeted, piercing follow-up questions. Show me the portfolio for the last 3 hospital operating room suites you completed. Can I speak to the facility manager of the data center you worked on last year? Walk me through your quality control process for welding stainless steel duct. These are the questions that peel back the glossy brochure and reveal the true nature of their experience. And here's the single biggest red flag to watch out for. It's the contractor who confidently says, "Oh, don't worry about it. Air is air. A duct is a duct. We can handle anything." That is the most dangerous person you can hire. That statement reveals a profound ignorance of the specialized knowledge required for high-stakes environments. It shows a lack of respect for the unique challenges your project presents. The true expert is the opposite. They'll tell you, "We've done 12 projects just like this. Here are the 3 main challenges we always encounter. And here is our specific plan for overcoming them on your job." They don't just see a duct. They see a critical component of your hospital's life support system, your data center's financial engine, or your laboratory's scientific integrity. They see the whole picture because they've seen it and built it time and time again. Finding that team isn't just a good idea. It's the only way to protect your investment and ensure your project succeeds. So the next question you need to ask cuts right to the heart of that investment. It moves beyond resumes and project photos and into the literal nuts and bolts, or more accurately, the seams and steel of your project. You must ask them, What is your fabrication process, and what specific materials do you recommend for my project and why? This isn't a trick question. It's a diagnostic tool, and their answer will tell you almost everything you need to know about their quality, their efficiency, and their entire operational philosophy. The answer will fall into one of two categories, and the difference between them is the difference between a project that flows and a project that flounders. Category 1 is the installer who says, "We order our ductwork from a third-party supplier." This sounds reasonable on the surface. Specialization, right? But what it really means is that the most critical custom-built component of your entire HVAC system is completely out of their control. They are now a middleman. They are at the mercy of another company's schedule, another company's quality control, and another company's mistakes. Imagine this. Your project is framed, the electricians and plumbers are on schedule, and the HVAC crew is ready to start running the main trunk lines. But the ductwork shipment is late. The supplier is backed up. Your installer can do nothing but make phone calls and apologize. Your entire project timeline grinds to a halt. The other trades can't work around it. Suddenly, you're paying people to stand around, and your grand opening date is slipping away, all because your installer supplier had a big order for someone else. Or worse, the shipment arrives and a critical transition piece, the complex fitting that connects the main trunk to a series of smaller branches, was measured or built incorrectly. It's off by 2 inches. It won't fit. Your installer now has to send it back. The third-party shop puts it back in their queue, and you wait another week, maybe 2, for the replacement. The blame game begins, and you're caught in the middle. Now consider category 2. The installer who looks you in the eye and says, "We fabricate everything in our own shop." This is the game changer. These words mean they have invested hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in their own capabilities. They have a dedicated facility with coil lines that flatten massive rolls of steel, plasma cutters that slice metal with computer-guided precision, and brake presses that bend it into shape. They employ skilled sheet metal craftsmen who do this one thing all day, every day. This isn't just about owning fancy equipment. This is about owning the entire process. It's about control. It's about agility. When that same project hits a snag, maybe a structural beam is discovered that wasn't on the original blueprints, right where a main duct was supposed to go, the response is completely different. The outsourced installer has a multi-day problem. The in-house fabricator has a solution. The foreman on your job site takes a new measurement, calls his own shop manager and says, "I need a custom offset, 14-inch by 20-inch with a 6-inch jog. Can I get it this afternoon?" And the answer is yes. A craftsman in their shop pulls up the digital file. The plasma table cuts the new pieces in minutes, and it's on a truck headed to your site before the end of the day. The problem that would have delayed another company for a week is solved in a matter of hours. Your project doesn't miss a beat. That is the power of in-house fabrication. It transforms potential project killing, delays into minor logistical hurdles. But the question has a second part: materials. An amateur will give you a generic answer. "We use sheet metal." A true professional will begin a conversation. They'll talk about gauge, the thickness of the metal. They'll explain that for a high-pressure main supply line, they'll use a heavier 18 or 20 gauge galvanized steel to prevent vibration, noise, and sagging over the decades. They'll tell you that a company trying to win a bid on price alone might use a flimsy 24 or 26 gauge, which meets the bare minimum code but will cause performance issues and rattle annoyingly for the life of the building. They know the standards set by SMACNA, the Sheet Metal and Air Conditioning Contractors National Association, and they build to or above that standard, not down to a price. They'll also ask about your operations. Are you building a restaurant? They'll immediately specify 304 stainless steel for the kitchen hood and exhaust ductwork. They'll explain that grease-laden vapor is highly corrosive and would eat through standard galvanized steel in a few years, creating fire hazards and health code violations. A less experienced installer might not know this, or might try to save you money up front with the wrong material, costing you a fortune in a premature replacement and catastrophic business interruption down the road. Are you building a high-tech manufacturing facility or a natatorium with a pool? They will talk about using aluminum or even specialized coated metals to handle the chemical-laden or high-moisture air that would turn lesser materials to rust. They might even suggest fabric ductwork for a large, open ceiling space like a gymnasium or distribution center, explaining how it provides more even, draft-free air distribution and can be taken down for easy cleaning. The point is, a top-tier installer is a materials consultant. They don't just offer one solution. They diagnose your specific needs and prescribe the right one. They understand that the air inside your building can be a benign utility or a destructive force, and the ductwork is the armor that contains it. Choosing the right material isn't an upsell. It's a calculated decision to ensure the system lasts for 30 years, not 5. So when you ask this question, listen carefully. Are you hearing excuses about suppliers and generic talk about sheet metal? Or are you hearing the confident language of control, of custom solutions, of in-house craftsmanship, and a detailed discussion of gauges and material science? One is a reseller of parts. The other is a master of the craft. One introduces risk and delays into your project. The other eliminates them. The ductwork is the permanent, arterial system of your building. It's largely inaccessible once the walls and ceilings are closed up. Getting it right the first time isn't just important. It's the only option. An installer who controls their own fabrication and masters their materials isn't just selling you ductwork. They're selling you certainty. They're selling you a project that stays on schedule, and a system that performs flawlessly for decades to come. So you've now confirmed they have the deep specialized experience. You've confirmed they have a state-of-the-art in-house fabrication shop and a masterful command of materials. They are building a world-class system from the ground up. But the highest quality ductwork in the world is useless if the person installing it, standing on a lift 20 feet in the air, makes one careless mistake. A mistake that could damage property, injure a person, and shut down your entire job site with a sea of red tape. That brings us to the next and arguably most critical question, the one that separates the true professionals from the dangerous liabilities. Are you fully insured and bonded for a project of this scale? Now, I know what you might be thinking. Insurance? Bonding? That's boring paperwork stuff. And you're not wrong, it is paperwork. But it is the most important paperwork you will ever discuss. This question isn't a formality. It's a surgical strike that cuts right to the heart of a contractor's viability. Answering this correctly requires more than a simple yes. It requires proof, transparency, and an understanding of risk that separates the seasoned professional from the weekend warrior playing with fire in your building. Let's break this down because the words insured and bonded are often used together, but they protect you from two fundamentally different kinds of catastrophe. First, let's talk about insurance. When you ask if a contractor is insured, you're not just asking one question. You're asking three. The first and most obvious is general liability insurance. This is the absolute bare minimum. This is the policy that covers what we call third-party damages. Imagine a crew is hoisting a massive 20-foot section of spiral ductwork up to the ceiling of your operational warehouse. A strap snaps. That multi-hundred-pound metal tube crashes down, not just on your floor, but onto a pallet of your most expensive inventory, destroying thousands of dollars of product. Or worse, it clips a forklift, damaging your equipment. Or even worse, it falls in the parking lot and crushes the roof of a customer's car. General liability insurance is what pays for that. Without it, the contractor might just shrug their shoulders, declare bankruptcy, and disappear, leaving you to foot the entire bill. A professional contractor will have a robust general liability policy, and the policy limit should be appropriate for the value of your property and the scope of the work. $1 million policy might sound like a lot, but on a $5 million job site, it's a drop in the bucket. The second and arguably more critical type of insurance is workers' compensation. This is non-negotiable. It's required by law in almost every state for a reason. Workers' comp covers the contractor's own employees if they get injured on your job site. Now, why should you care about their employees? Because if they don't have this coverage, you become the target. Let me paint you a picture. Let's say you hire a seemingly competent HVAC company. They offered a price that was just too good to pass up. One of their installers is on a 12-foot ladder, wrestling a heavy plenum into place. He loses his footing and falls, suffering a serious back injury. He's out of work for months, facing a mountain of medical bills. The contractor he works for, the one you hired, cut corners. He never paid for a workers' compensation policy to save a few bucks. So, who does that injured worker's lawyer decide to sue for damages? They're not going to get blood from a stone with the cut rate contractor. They are going to come after the deepest pockets they can find. They are going to come after you. They will sue you, the property owner, the general contractor, claiming you maintained an unsafe work environment. Suddenly, your straightforward HVAC project has morphed into a multi-year, soul-crushing, and astronomically expensive lawsuit. Your project grinds to a halt. Your legal fees eclipse the entire cost of the original job, all because you didn't verify one piece of paper. A professional contractor not only has workers' comp, they understand it protects everyone, including you, their client. The third piece is commercial auto insurance, covering their fleet of vans and trucks. This is straightforward, but you want to know that if their work truck backs into your loading dock door, there's a policy in place to fix it without a fight. So how do you verify all this? You don't just take their word for it. You ask for a certificate of insurance or COI. This is a one-page summary of their coverage. When you get it, you don't just glance at it. You read it. Check the expiration dates to make sure the policies are active and won't expire in the middle of your job. Check the policy limits to ensure they're adequate. And here's the pro-level move. You ask to be named as an additional insured on their general liability policy. This is a standard request in commercial construction. It means their insurance policy extends its shield to protect you directly from claims arising out of their work on your project. If a contractor balks at this or doesn't know what you're talking about, that is a 5-alarm fire of a red flag. Okay, so that's insurance. It covers accidents and unforeseen events. But what about deliberate failure? What if the contractor just fails? They underbid the job, run out of money, and walk away, leaving you with a half-finished system of ducts leading to nowhere. What if their work is so shoddy it fails inspection and has to be completely torn out? That's not an accident. General liability won't cover that. This is where the second half of our question comes in: bonding. A surety bond is not insurance. Insurance is a two-party agreement between the insurer and the contractor. A bond is a three-party guarantee between the contractor, you the client, and a surety company. In essence, the surety company is a powerful financial institution that is co-signing for the contractor. They are putting their own money on the line and guaranteeing that the contractor will fulfill the terms of the contract. This is your ultimate safety net. If the contractor fails to perform, if they go bankrupt, abandon the job, or are fired for gross incompetence, you don't just sue them and hope to get your money back. You file a claim with the surety company. The surety then has two options. They can either pay another contractor to come in and finish the job correctly, or they can simply write you a check for the financial loss, up to the full value of the bond. Getting bonded isn't easy. A surety company will do a deep, invasive dive into a contractor's finances, their history, their credit, their past performance, and their character. They look at everything. A contractor who can secure a significant performance bond is a contractor who has been thoroughly vetted and deemed financially stable and professionally competent by a risk-averse financial institution. Their ability to get bonded is, in itself, a powerful endorsement of their reliability. So when you ask a potential installer about their bonding, listen carefully to the answer. A true professional will respond with confidence. They'll say, absolutely. Our single project bonding capacity is $5 million, and our aggregate capacity is $15 million. We can have our surety agent send you a bondability letter this afternoon. That's the sound of a stable, serious company. But if you hear hesitation, if they say, oh, a bond is really expensive, or we don't usually need one for a job this size, or we can do the job without one and save you some money, run. They are telling you one of two things. Either they are not financially stable enough to qualify for a bond, or they are trying to get you to take on all the risk of their potential failure. Either way, it's a deal breaker. This question about insurance and bonding does more than just protect you legally and financially. It acts as the great filter. It instantly separates the established, responsible businesses who have built a foundation of stability from the risky operators who are flying by the seat of their pants. The ones who have the proper coverage have planned for the worst. The ones who haven't are making you a part of their gamble. And when it comes to a system as critical and expensive as your commercial HVAC ductwork, you cannot afford to be on the losing side of that bet. Once you've established that they have the financial and legal safeguards in place, that they are a stable entity capable of weathering a storm, it's time to dig into the people who will actually be on your property, turning wrenches and hanging duct. Because a company is only as good as the team it sends to your site. This brings us to the fourth and arguably the most personal question you need to ask. Who specifically will be on my job site, and what are their qualifications? Think about it. You can have a company with a century-long history, a $10 million bonding capacity, and a beautiful logo on their trucks. But none of that matters if the crew they send to your facility is their C-team. The success or failure of your multi-million-dollar project, the comfort of your employees, the efficiency of your building, it all comes down to the foreman on site and the technicians turning the wrenches. You are not hiring a brand. You are hiring a team of individuals, and you have every right to vet that team. Let's start at the top of the job site food chain. The foreman or project lead. This person is the quarterback. They are the direct link between the project manager in the office, the other trades on site, and the crew actually hanging the duct. Their competence or lack thereof can make or break your entire project timeline and budget. I remember a project for a large data center. The initial ductwork plan, drawn up by the engineers, looked perfect on paper. But the foreman, a guy with 25 years of experience, got on site, took one look at the ceiling and saw a problem. The structural engineer had added a last-minute steel support beam that wasn't on the HVAC drawings. A less experienced foreman would have just started fabrication based on the plans. When the duct arrived on site, it wouldn't have fit. The result? Weeks of delays, tens of thousands of dollars in refabrication and wasted labor. But this foreman, he immediately paused, called the project manager, coordinated with the structural team, and had the fabrication drawings adjusted before a single piece of metal was cut. He didn't just prevent a disaster, he saved the client a fortune and kept the project on schedule. That's the difference between a crew chief and a true field general. So when you ask about the team, specifically ask about the foreman who will be assigned to your project. Ask for their resume. How many jobs of this specific size and complexity have they run? Have they worked in your industry before? A hospital has radically different requirements than a warehouse. A high-rise office building is a different beast than a retail strip mall. Experience isn't just about years in the trade, it's about relevant years in the trade. A great foreman is a master problem solver and a diplomat. They need to be able to look at a tangled mess of pipes, wires, and steel and visualize the path of the ductwork, all while communicating clearly and professionally with the electricians, the plumbers, and you, the client. Don't be shy. Ask to meet the proposed foreman. Look them in the eye. You'll know if you're talking to a leader or just a guy holding a clipboard. Now let's talk about the installers themselves, the craftspeople who will be building the metal lungs of your building. This is where you separate the truly professional outfits from the companies just trying to fill a spot with a warm body. The key things to look for are training, certification, and a culture of safety. First, ask about their training programs. Does the company have a formal multi-year apprenticeship program, often registered with the Department of Labor? Or do they just hire people off the street and hope they figure it out? A company that invests in a rigorous apprenticeship program is demonstrating a long-term commitment to quality and craftsmanship. They are teaching their people the right way to do things from day one. From understanding airflow dynamics to mastering the art of a perfect seal on a duct joint. This isn't just about technical skill. It's about instilling a sense of pride in the work. Next, inquire about certifications. You might hear acronyms like NATE, which stands for North American Technician Excellence. While more common for service techs, seeing it among installers shows a deep understanding of the entire HVAC system. More importantly, ask about safety certifications. Is the entire crew at a minimum OSHA 10 certified? Is the foreman OSHA 30 certified? Let me be crystal clear. This is a non-negotiable. OSHA certification means the team has been formally trained to recognize and avoid job site hazards. A company that doesn't invest in this basic level of safety training is waving a giant red flag. They are telling you that they are willing to cut corners not just on safety but likely on quality as well. A safe job site is an efficient job site. Accidents cause catastrophic delays, trigger massive insurance claims, and can bring your entire project to a grinding halt. A contractor who prioritizes safety is a contractor who is organized, disciplined, and professional. And this brings us to a massive, often hidden detail that you absolutely must clarify. You need to ask this question word for word. Will the installers on my project be your direct W-2 employees? Or will you be using 1099 subcontractors? This is a game changer. Let me explain. A W-2 employee is a direct employee of the company. The company pays their payroll taxes, covers their workers' compensation insurance, provides their training, and has direct control and supervision over their work. They are part of the company's team and culture. A 1099 subcontractor, on the other hand, is an independent business. When a contractor relies heavily on subcontractors for their core installation work, it introduces a whole host of risks for you. You lose the chain of command. The quality control becomes murky because the contractor you hired isn't directly supervising the work in the same way. The crew that shows up might not have the same level of training, insurance coverage, or safety commitment as the company you thought you hired. We once took over a project at a new manufacturing plant that was 6 months behind schedule. The original HVAC contractor had won the bid with a very low price. How? They subcontracted the installation to a small, out-of-state crew. The communication was a nightmare. The quality was shoddy, leaky ducts, improper supports, just a total mess. And when a serious safety incident occurred, it became a legal hornet's nest of finger-pointing between the contractor, the subcontractor, and the client. The client thought they were hiring a reputable local firm, but what they got was a crew they had never met, with no loyalty to the contractor or the project. Now, using a specialized subcontractor for a very specific task, like hiring a certified crane operator or a specialized testing and balancing firm, is normal and often necessary. But if a company plans to subcontract the bulk of the actual ductwork installation, the core of their business, you need to be extremely cautious. You are hiring them for their expertise, and that expertise should reside within their own team, their own W-2 employees who they have trained, vetted, and can hold directly accountable for the quality of their work. So, when you evaluate a contractor, you're not just looking at the company. You're evaluating the foreman's leadership, the technician's training, the company's commitment to safety, and the employment structure of the team. You need to be confident that the people who show up on day one are the same caliber of professionals you were sold on in the proposal. Because even the best, most experienced team in the world can fail if they are working without a clear, meticulously detailed, and well-communicated plan. A world-class orchestra with a terrible sheet of music is just going to make noise. And that brings us to the final critical question you must ask, the one that separates the amateurs from the true masters of commercial HVAC installation, the one that ties everything together from design to final execution. Question number 5. What is your process for testing, adjusting, and balancing the entire system post-installation, and will you provide us with a certified report? This is it. This is the question that makes the unprepared installer shuffle their feet, and the true professional lean in with a confident smile. Because this question isn't about materials or timelines, it's about proof. It's about accountability. It's the final exam for the entire project, and you need to know if your contractor is ready to take it, or if they're planning to skip graduation day. Let's break down that acronym you'll hear: TAB. Testing, adjusting, and balancing. It sounds technical, but the concept is beautifully simple. It's the process of turning a collection of ducts, fans, and vents into a single, cohesive, high-performance system that works exactly as designed. First, let's talk about testing. When a professional says they're testing the system, they don't mean they're just going to flip the breaker and see if cold air comes out. That's like a mechanic starting a car and saying, "Yep, the engine turns on," without ever checking the horsepower, the fuel efficiency, or if the brakes actually work. No, professional testing is a forensic analysis of airflow. They use specialized tools, things like anemometers, manometers, and capture hoods, to measure the exact volume of air, in cubic feet per minute or CFM, moving through every single part of your system. They measure the static pressure inside your ducts to ensure it's not too high, which would be like having high blood pressure in your building's arteries, straining the heart of your system, the air handler. They test amperage draws on motors to make sure they aren't working too hard, and they measure temperature differentials to confirm the unit is actually conditioning the air effectively. This isn't guesswork. It's data. It's the raw, unvarnished truth of whether the system that was built matches the system that was designed. Next comes adjusting. This is where the science meets the art. The data from the testing phase tells the technician what is happening. The adjusting phase is where they make it do what it's supposed to be happening. No building is a perfect laboratory. The real world intervenes. Maybe one side of your building gets blasted by the afternoon sun, requiring a bit more cooling than the shaded side. Maybe your server room, which you thought would produce a certain amount of heat, is actually running hotter. The adjusting process fine-tunes the system for these real-world conditions. Technicians will adjust manual dampers hidden inside the ductwork, like little valves for air, to redirect flow. They'll adjust fan speeds, calibrate thermostats, and tweak settings on the main unit. It's like tuning a world-class orchestra. The design is the sheet music, but the conductor, the tab technician, has to listen to the room's acoustics and adjust each instrument until the sound is perfect, harmonious, and fills the space exactly as intended. A contractor who doesn't have a detailed plan for this phase is essentially just handing you the instruments and expecting you to form the orchestra yourself. Finally, and most critically, we have balancing. This is the result of all that testing and adjusting. Balancing is the act of ensuring that every single room, every office, every zone gets the precise amount of conditioned air it was designed to receive. It is the single biggest factor in occupant comfort. I'm sure you've experienced an unbalanced system. You walk into an office building and the reception area is freezing. You go into a conference room and it's so stuffy you can barely think. One person's office feels like a meat locker, while the person in the next office over is running a space heater under their desk. That is the signature of an unbalanced system. It's a sign of a job that was installed but never completed. Proper balancing eliminates this. It creates thermal equity throughout the building. It ensures that the small office in the corner gets its designated 150 CFM of air, and the large open plan area gets its 2000 CFM, and neither is stealing from the other. It's what delivers on the fundamental promise of an HVAC system. Comfort, everywhere. So why is asking about this process a non-negotiable deal breaker? Because a contractor who can't give you a clear, confident and detailed answer is telling you one of three things. 1. They don't have the expensive, specialized equipment to do it. 2. They don't have the highly trained technicians with the expertise to do it correctly. Or 3. They're planning to cut this corner to come in with a lower bid, knowing you won't know the difference until months later when the complaints start rolling in. A proper tab process is your ultimate quality control. It's the verification that you got what you paid for. Without it, you've bought a very expensive, very loud piece of abstract metal art. With it, you have a certified, high-performance asset for your building. This directly impacts your bottom line. An unbalanced system is an energy hog. The fan motor has to work overtime, fighting against unnecessary pressure, to try and force air to where it needs to go. That's like driving your car everywhere with the parking brake partially engaged. Your energy bills will be consistently 10, 20, even 30% higher than they should be. The money you might save by hiring a contractor who skips this step will be paid back, with interest, to the utility company every single month for the life of the system. And then there's the second half of the question, the certified report. This is your proof. This is the deliverable. A professional installer won't just tell you they balance the system. They will hand you a thick, detailed report that documents everything. This report will show the designed airflow for every single grill and diffuser in your building, and right next to it, the final measured airflow after balancing. It will show static pressure readings, motor amperage, everything. It is a birth certificate for your HVAC system. It is your ultimate leverage. If something feels off a year from now, you have the baseline data to diagnose the problem. It holds the installer accountable to the promises they made during the sales process. A top-tier contractor will either have their own certified tab technicians in-house or, in a true sign of confidence, will hire a reputable, independent, third-party tab firm to do the work. Think about that. They are so confident in the quality of their installation that they are willing to pay an outside expert to come in and scrutinize every last detail of their work and put the results in writing for you. That's the kind of partner you want. When you ask a contractor this question, listen carefully to their response. The amateur will say something like, "Oh yeah, we'll make sure it's all running good before we leave." They'll be vague. They'll downplay the importance of a report. The professional, however, will light up. They'll say, "Absolutely. We follow NEBB or AABC standards. Our process involves a preliminary check, and then a full system balance once the space is complete. We'll provide you with a comprehensive report showing design specs versus actual performance for every zone. It's a standard part of our commissioning process." That is the answer you're looking for. That is the answer that tells you you're dealing with a company that stands behind its work, that believes in data, and that is committed to delivering not just ductwork, but documented, verifiable performance. These 5 questions, taken together, form a powerful framework. They move you beyond just comparing prices on a piece of paper. They force a conversation about design philosophy, material integrity, logistical mastery, acoustic performance, and finally verifiable proof of a job well done. By asking these questions, you are no longer just a client. You are an informed partner in the process, ensuring the long-term health, comfort, and efficiency of your building. But asking the right questions is only half the battle. Now we need to bring it all together. We need to talk about how to evaluate the answers you receive, how to spot the subtle red flags, and how to make that final critical decision with absolute confidence. So let's break down what you're listening for. It's not just about getting an answer. It's about the quality, the detail, and the confidence behind it. When you ask about their experience with projects like yours, a great contractor won't just say yes. They'll light up. They'll say, "Absolutely. We did the new medical complex over on 5th Street. It had a similar rooftop unit configuration and required extensive VAV box integration. The biggest challenge was coordinating with the plumbers on a tight schedule, but our project manager, Sarah, implemented a shared digital schedule that kept everyone on track. We actually finished 3 days early. See the difference? That's a story. That's verifiable proof. The red flag is the vague, dismissive answer. Oh yeah, we do those all the time. If they can't or won't give you a specific example, a contact person, or a story of a challenge overcome, it means they either don't have the experience or worse, they don't think you're important enough to impress. Now let's talk fabrication. This question is a masterclass in reading between the lines. The green flag isn't necessarily in-house or outsourced. The green flag is transparency. If they have an in-house shop, they should be proud of it. They should talk about their plasma cutters, their quality control process, their ability to build custom fittings on the fly to solve unexpected on-site problems. They might even invite you to see it. That's confidence. If they outsource, a great contractor will say, "We have a strategic partnership with a dedicated fabrication shop we've worked with for 15 years. They know our standards, we have a rigorous QA process where we inspect every piece before it comes to the site. And this partnership allows us to handle a higher volume of work without compromising quality." They own the relationship in the quality control. The giant flashing red flag is evasion. If you ask where the ductwork is made and they say, "It depends," or "We use various suppliers," and can't give you a straight answer, you should be very concerned. It suggests they're just price shopping from whoever is cheapest this week, with no consistent standard for quality, gauge of metal, or sealant application. That inconsistency will show up in your building's performance and your energy bills. Next, project management and communication. This is where you separate the professionals from the amateurs who just happen to own a truck. A good answer is all about systems. You'll be assigned a dedicated project manager, Bill. He'll be your single point of contact. We use a project management software called Procore where you'll have a client portal to see daily logs, photos, and progress reports. We also hold a mandatory site meeting every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. to discuss progress and any upcoming coordination. That is a system. It's predictable. It inspires confidence. The red flag answer sounds like this. "Don't worry, we'll keep you in the loop. Just call the office if you need anything." That is not a system. It's a recipe for disaster. It means you will be the project manager. It means you'll be the one chasing them down for updates, wondering why no one showed up on Monday, and trying to get 3 different people on the phone who all give you a different story. A lack of a communication plan is a guarantee of frustration, delays, and costly mistakes. And then we have the question that tolerates no ambiguity, safety. When you ask for their EMR or experience modification rate, there are only 2 types of answers. The first is the green light. Our EMR is a 0.85. We're very proud of it. It's a result of our mandatory weekly toolbox talks, our comprehensive safety training for all new hires, and our full-time safety director. They know the number instantly. They're proud of it because a low number saves them money on insurance and proves they run a tight ship. The second type of answer is a full-stop, deal-breaker red flag. It's any hesitation, any confusion. If they say, "What's an EMR?" or "I'll have to get back to you on that," or "Our insurance guy handles that stuff," you end the conversation politely and show them the door. A contractor who doesn't know their safety score is a contractor who isn't serious about safety. And that is a massive liability you cannot afford to have on your property. It's a direct reflection of their overall professionalism and attention to detail. If they're sloppy with safety, they'll be sloppy with their seams, their hangers, and their calculations. Finally, let's evaluate the warranty and support. This is your protection after the final check has cleared. A great contractor provides a clear written document. They'll say, "We offer a comprehensive 2-year warranty on all parts and labor covering any defects in workmanship. Here's a copy of the warranty document that outlines the exact coverage and the simple process for making a claim." After the warranty period, we also offer a preventative maintenance plan to keep everything running at peak efficiency. It's clear, it's professional, it's in writing. The red flag is the handshake promise. It's the "Don't you worry, we stand by our work." Those words are friendly, but in the legal world they are smoke. They mean nothing. If they won't put their promise on paper, it's not a promise. It's a sales tactic. A refusal to provide a clear, written warranty suggests they either lack confidence in their own work, or they plan on being very hard to find once the job is done. Now, with all these answers in hand, you have to do one more thing. You have to perform the gut check. Beyond the data, how did they make you feel? Did they listen more than they talked? Did they ask you intelligent questions about your building's use, your occupancy schedule, your long-term goals? A true partner is curious. They want to solve your problem, not just install their product. Or did they feel like a slick salesperson, rushing you, dismissing your concerns, and pushing for a signature? Did they show up on time? Was their proposal a detailed, multi-page document outlining the scope of work? Or was it a one-page invoice with a number at the bottom? These intangibles, this professional courtesy, it all points to the kind of experience you're going to have for the next several weeks or months. When you have your 2 or 3 proposals, don't just scan for the lowest number. That is the single biggest mistake people make. The lowest bid is often the most expensive project in disguise. Create a simple scorecard. Grade each contractor from 1 to 5 on experience, fabrication, communication, safety, and warranty. The company with the highest score, not the lowest price, is almost always the best value. That cheap bid might be using a thinner gauge of metal that will vibrate and create noise. It might be skimping on sealant and mastic at the joints, leading to leaks that will bleed your expensive conditioned air into the ceiling for years. It might not include proper commissioning and balancing, leaving you with hot and cold spots all over your building. The best contractor isn't the one who saves you a few $1,000s up front. The best contractor is the one who saves you tens of thousands of dollars over the life of the building in energy efficiency, repair costs, and peace of mind. You've done the hard work. You've researched, you've asked the tough questions, you've evaluated the answers and listened to your gut. Now you can make your final decision not with hope, but with data, with confidence. You're not just hiring a company to hang pieces of metal in your ceiling. You're choosing a partner who will impact your employees' comfort, your customers' experience, and your utility bills for the next 30 years. You are installing the respiratory system of your building, and by following this process, you can be sure it's a system that will let you and your business breathe easy.